There is a huge amount of unrecorded human history beneath the ocean surface that we don't know very much about at all.
The sea hides shocking secrets that are way more terrifying than just strange monumental creatures, like alien ancient mysteries that could change everything we know about history. Time is running out. Dive in and discover the ocean's darkest secrets before it's too late. The pyramid beneath the waves. Sometimes regular people sailing on a sunny day can discover relics that change what we know about the past. These accidental finds are not just exciting, they show that anyone with curiosity and a bit of luck can help rewrite history. Picture yourself sailing under a bright sun, the waves gently rocking your boat, and knowing that just below you are pieces of our past. This idea alone can inspire anyone who loves learning and adventure, showing that history isn't just in museums or books, but can be found in unexpected places. But this isn't the most surprising part. Imagine you're out on the water, enjoying a peaceful day, and you come across something that changes everything we thought we knew. It proves that the spirit of discovery is alive in all of us, and history can come to life in the most surprising ways. When Diogo Silva, a Portuguese sailor, set off on a regular fishing trip between the Azores Islands of São Miguel Island and Terceira in 2014, he had no idea what was waiting for him. As he sailed through familiar waters, he expected nothing more than his usual catch. But when he looked at his sonar device, he saw something that changed everything. A perfectly shaped pyramid lying quietly at the bottom of the sea. Silva was stunned. He checked the sonar equipment again, thinking it might be broken. But everything was working fine. The image was clear, a huge symmetrical pyramid hidden deep under the waves. But this wasn't the strangest part. The pyramid's perfect shape and angles made it clear it wasn't a natural formation. Silva realized it might be from an ancient civilization, lost to time and swallowed by the ocean. The excitement and disbelief hit him hard. This was not just a strange find. It was potentially a huge archaeological discovery. Silva's shock quickly turned into curiosity and determination. He knew he had found something significant. What could have caused such a structure to be built in this remote part of the ocean? Who built it and why? These questions filled his mind, and he understood that his unexpected discovery could change what we know about history hidden beneath the sea. A surprising discovery. Recent analysis has revealed a huge underwater structure sitting quietly 40 meters below the surface. Covering a massive 8,000 square meters, this structure is not easy to explain. Nearby, a pyramid rises 60 meters above the water. These impressive constructions have been underwater for over 20,000 years, raising many questions. Could we be looking at the remains of a highly advanced civilization we never knew about? This structure, hidden under the sea, suggests a history that could change what we know about human development. The size and complexity hint at a society with impressive building skills, far beyond what we associate with ancient cultures of that time. This discovery makes us rethink our historical timeline. If a society built such monumental structures 20,000 years ago, what does that say about their abilities? Were they building for practical reasons, or is there a deeper meaning to these underwater wonders? This finding might reveal an untold chapter of human history, filled with innovations that could amaze us today. But that's not the only intriguing part. Exploring this structure might show us technologies and methods that we thought were lost. The large and detailed site suggests that its builders had a level of knowledge that challenges our current historical understanding. Imagine a civilization so advanced that it thrived and was then forgotten until now. This opens up endless possibilities for research and exploration, which could enrich our understanding of human history and our place in it. Long before the last ice age ended, some people had a fascinating idea. They wondered if a structure underwater could be the remains of Atlantis. According to popular stories, Atlantis was a legendary island kingdom that sank beneath the waves after its people made the gods angry. Most scholars, however, think Plato's story of Atlantis is just a myth, not based on any real events. But there's more to the story. Archaeologists have found several artifacts and structures that suggest there might be some truth to the legend. These discoveries hint that ancient advanced civilizations might have existed and then been lost over time. This possibility has inspired ongoing research, with experts carefully studying each piece of evidence to see if there could be any truth to the tales of a sunken city. Long before the Portuguese arrived on the Azores in 1427, humans had already been living on these islands for thousands of years. Beyond the myths of Atlantis that float around these shores, there's a chance that the notable structures here, like the ancient pyramid, formed naturally. Maybe a volcanic eruption shaped this impressive structure, or it could be the remains of a glacier from the last ice age. Every discovery brings us closer to the ancient city's hidden story. The mystery beneath the waves. Despite these ideas, the real origins and purpose of this pyramid are still a big mystery. No one has publicly shared this pyramid's exact location, which keeps the debate and curiosity alive. This ancient city, hidden for centuries, has stood silently against the North Atlantic's strong winds. As researchers and historians dig deeper, every clue adds to our understanding, but also makes the mystery more intriguing. Every discovery is like a piece of a puzzle that is both enlightening and challenging, pushing us to uncover the story of human resilience and creativity from before recorded history. And yet the puzzle is far from complete. The more we learn, the more questions arise about this enigmatic place. Every step forward seems to reveal even more layers of history and mystery, reminding us of the complex and fascinating past that these islands hold. Sometimes a city thought to be lost forever manages to reappear, revealing its secrets to the world. This happened with the ancient city of Heraklion, located in the Bay of Abukir. In its prime, Heraklion was much more than just a regular city. It was Egypt's most important seaport after Alexandria, full of life and activity. From around 550 to 331 BC, it thrived as a lively metropolis, playing a key role in Mediterranean trade. But Heraklion wasn't just an economic center. It was also a cultural and religious hub, with many temples and shrines dedicated to different gods and goddesses. Merchants, sailors, and pilgrims from all over the Mediterranean walked its streets, adding to its diverse atmosphere. However, Heraklion's luck changed dramatically over time. By the 8th century AD, a series of natural disasters hit the city. Severe earthquakes followed by massive floods caused the buildings to sink into the sea, burying them under mud and sediment. For centuries, historians and archaeologists debated the location of Heraklion, with many wondering if it was just a myth. But the worst part was that the city didn't stay hidden forever. Modern technology and dedicated archaeological efforts eventually rediscovered Heraklion, submerged and preserved beneath the sea. The excavation of this lost city gave us valuable insights into ancient Egyptian civilization, showing us the vibrant life that once existed there. Every artifact recovered from the depths helps piece together the story of Heraklion, a city once forgotten, now remembered again. Heraklion was once a bustling city spread across several islands, but over time, it mysteriously sank into the depths of the ocean. This vast area of the Nile Delta, about 110 kilometers wide, slowly submerged over the centuries. The city seemed lost forever, just a minor note in history, until something incredible happened at the start of the 21st century. A team of researchers made an amazing discovery that caught the world's attention. They found the exact location of this ancient city underwater. Today, we know that the remains of Heraklion lie about 6.5 kilometers off the coast, buried under the sea at a depth of nearly 10 meters. This discovery ignited a wave of excitement among archaeologists. Scientists and historians rushed to the site, eager to uncover the secrets hidden in the ruins. As they dug deeper, they found a treasure trove of artifacts untouched for centuries. These items gave us a peek into the daily lives of Heraklion's ancient people and provided clues about why the city was abandoned to the sea. But the real work had just begun. The ongoing research is helping us understand the complex urban planning of Heraklion and the challenges it faced. Each artifact they find is like a piece of a giant puzzle, helping us understand the rise and fall of this once great city. The process is slow and detailed, but every discovery adds to our knowledge, painting a clearer picture of a civilization almost forgotten by time. When archaeologists started digging, they found something beyond their expectations. They uncovered not just one, but two ancient cities at the same time. These cities, known as the Greek city of Heraklion and the Egyptian city of Thonis turned out to be the same place. This amazing discovery was made over 20 years ago, but the site is still very active as explorers continue to learn more about its history. So far, the team has found the ruins of a central temple of Amun, a sacred place that once attracted pilgrims from all over. Recently, they made another exciting discovery, a hidden treasure chamber underwater. This chamber was full of artifacts that give us a glimpse into the rich, complex life of the ancient city's people. From beautifully crafted jewelry that shows their wealth and status, to well-preserved pottery that tells us about their daily lives and customs, each item helps us understand more about this ancient world. But that's not the most fascinating part. This ongoing exploration doesn't just reveal old buildings and items. It also gives us valuable knowledge about the past. Each layer of soil and sand they remove tells a story about a civilization that left its mark both on land and underwater. The fact that the city was known by two names, Heraklion and Thonis, helps us see how different cultures mixed and influenced each other. The excitement at the dig site is clear, as every new discovery adds another piece to the puzzle of our shared human history. The deeper we dig, the more the past comes to life. Ancient secrets beneath Amun's temple. The exploration continues to uncover not just artifacts, but also deeper insights into how ancient people lived, interacted, and built their societies. Every find brings a new story, making the past come alive in ways we never imagined. Among the treasures found in the ancient city were 2 silver bowls used in rituals, several alabaster containers for anointing oils, and gold figurines of deities. These artifacts show not just the deep religious passion of the city's people, but also their wealth. But that's not all. Amun wasn't the only god worshipped here. Thousands of years ago, Aphrodite was also honored. The Greek settlers who once lived here offered ceramic and bronze items at her sanctuary. These different religious artifacts paint a picture of a culturally rich and spiritually diverse community. The fact that both Egyptian and Greek gods were worshipped here suggests a mix of beliefs and traditions. This blending of religious practices shows that different ethnic groups likely interacted and lived together peacefully, adding to the city's historical importance. But this wasn't the only notable aspect. The variety and quality of the religious offerings found suggests that the city was not just a religious center, but also a busy trade hub. The gold figurines, in particular, point to a society that had access to wealth and skilled craftsmanship. The ceremonial items, made with precious metals and fine ceramics, reflect a community that valued religious expression and honoring their gods. This discovery offers valuable insights into ancient ways of life, providing clues about the economic conditions, artistic efforts, and spiritual life of the time. But that's not all. The coexistence of different religious practices highlights the complexity of ancient societies, where trade, migration, and conquest often brought different cultures together, creating a rich tapestry of shared and unique beliefs. These findings not only deepen our understanding of the past, but also show the intricate connections between commerce, religion, and culture in ancient civilizations. In the middle of a forgotten city, near the old temple of Amun, researchers found the remains of an ancient ship. This ship, called a Thalic galley, was surprisingly well preserved, like it was in a time capsule. It sank around the 2nd century BC, probably due to a huge earthquake that shook the area. But the ship wasn't just buried, it was covered by the temple's fallen stones and a thick layer of clay, about 5 meters deep. This special way of being preserved let experts closely study the ship's structure, giving them a clear look into the past. They found out that the ship was not just Egyptian, but a mix of Egyptian and Greek design. This mix showed how the two cultures influenced each other, reflecting a time when people in the area learned a lot from one another. Finding this ship gave us a lot of new information about ancient maritime practices and how different cultures interacted through trade. Every piece of wood and nail on the ship told a story about the skill and technology of that time, showing how important sea exploration was. But this wasn't the most surprising part. The presence of the ship under the temple's ruins made researchers think more about how big buildings and their falls during natural disasters could help preserve human history. This accidental preservation gives us unique insights into the past that we might not have discovered otherwise. When a ship is named HMS Terror, It's easy to guess that its trips aren't peaceful afternoon sails. Before heading into the icy Arctic, this ship was a powerful part of the Royal Navy, striking fear with its two huge cannons. In 1845, the HMS Terror and its sister ship, the HMS Erebus, set off on a challenging journey to the North Pole. Their goal was to map out unknown lands, but it ended up being one of the most tragic expeditions ever. But this wasn't the worst part. The frozen Arctic was very different from the battlefields where the Terror had once shown its power. As it sailed into colder, more dangerous waters, the ship and its crew faced unimaginable problems. The environment was relentless, with temperatures dropping to bone-chilling lows. Every moment became a fight for survival against the harsh elements. This change from a warship to an Arctic explorer was huge, marking a new chapter in the ship's history. The icy grip of the Arctic awaited, ready to push the limits of human endurance and the strength of the HMS Terror. At the set time, British explorer Sir John Franklin and his crew of 129 men started their journey with the big goal of finding the Northwest Passage. This wasn't just a trip, but a brave mission to find a route that many thought would change sea travel forever. Sadly, the harsh Arctic environment quickly became their biggest challenge. As the icy seas and freezing cold hit them hard, only 4 sailors eventually made it back to tell their story. These survivors had to make the tough choice to leave early because the situation was so bad. The others were not so lucky. They died from the extreme cold, never-ending tiredness, and terrible illnesses. For years, the details of their suffering stayed hidden in the Arctic ice. Exploring history reveals tales of survival and courage. Frozen in Time, the tragic tale of the Franklin expedition. 3 years after the hopeful start, the remaining crew had no choice but to leave their ships, stuck in the merciless ice. Their fight to stay alive was intense. They had less and less food, always at risk of starving. Desperate, they wandered the frozen lands, hoping to be rescued from their icy prison. But this wasn't the worst part. This tragic journey caught the world's attention, leading to many rescue missions. Families and fellow explorers clung to hope, starting efforts to find out what happened to the lost crew. The mystery of Franklin and his men caused much speculation and led to big improvements in Arctic exploration, paving the way for future trips to these dangerous northern waters. The 19th century, 2 ships, the HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, set sail with high hopes of navigating through icy waters in search of safety. Sadly, every crew member met a tragic fate, with none surviving the harsh conditions. Despite this, a huge rescue mission was launched, becoming the largest of its time. A reward, which would be almost 2 million euros today, was offered to find and save the stranded sailors. But despite these efforts, the search ended in failure. Years turned into decades with no sign of the ships, leaving their fate a mystery in the cold Arctic waters. Then in 2014, explorers found the wreck of the HMS Erebus off the coast of the Adelaide Peninsula. This discovery brought back interest, and just 2 years later, the HMS Terror was also found, amazingly well preserved under the cold waters. But this wasn't the end of the story. These ships, frozen in time, now stand as eerie reminders of the dangerous journey that claimed the lives of their crews. They teach us about the risks and challenges faced by those brave explorers. And so the story continues as we learn more about their perilous adventure and the harsh realities they encountered. The tough and cold landscape of King William's Island. The bones of those who died weren't just left behind, they were buried where they fell. These remains, pieces of a sad history, are very important to researchers trying to understand what happened during the expedition. Studying these bones has taught us a lot about the crew's health and their final moments. It has also helped us identify who they were, giving back their names and stories lost to the Arctic's ice. One big find was the remains of John Gregory, an engineer on the HMS Erebus during that doomed journey. Scientists carefully analyzed DNA from these remains and matched them with samples from Gregory's living family members. This not only confirmed who he was, but also gave a face and a story to a name that had been forgotten in Arctic exploration history. But this wasn't the worst part. The process of identifying these remains connects the past with the present. It lets descendants find their family ties to these historical events. It shows the crew members as real people with families, dreams, and stories, not just nameless figures in a frozen land. These discoveries help us understand the huge challenges these explorers faced and the ultimate sacrifices they made in their quest for discovery. And it gets even more interesting. This deeper understanding brings a new appreciation for their bravery and the harsh conditions they endured. The more we learn, the more we respect their incredible journey and the hardships they faced. A recent study of DNA from one of John Gregory's direct descendants showed a surprising amount of similarity, giving us a clearer view of Gregory's family line. Additionally, scientists used this information to reconstruct his face, giving us a likely picture of what John Gregory looked like. But they didn't stop there. They also looked into what happened to his crew. An interesting turn, scientists managed to extract and analyze the DNA from 26 crew members. One surprising discovery came from analyzing a crew member's fingernail. At first, they thought lead poisoning was a common cause of death among the crew because lead was widely used back then. But the fingernail showed low lead levels. Instead, it pointed to zinc deficiency as a possible silent killer. This lack of zinc could explain many symptoms found in the remains, like weakened immunity and slower wound healing, which could have made it even harder for the crew to survive in tough conditions. These findings are important not just for understanding the health of these sailors, but also for learning more about how nutrition and the environment affected their survival. Every piece of information from their remains adds to our knowledge of the challenges faced by these maritime explorers and helps us appreciate the complexities of historical voyages. Not having certain nutrients probably made people more likely to get really sick with diseases like tuberculosis. Now picture surviving 11 days trapped in a freezer. Sounds like something out of a survival story, right? But this was real life for a Brazilian fisherman named Romualdo Macedo Rodrigues. One man's fight against nature shows the power of hope and resilience, Romualdo's survival tale. In August 2022, he set out for what was supposed to be a simple 3-day fishing trip. However, things quickly went wrong. His boat started to fall apart, with water rushing in from all sides. Rodrigues suddenly found himself alone on the open sea, facing the elements. Each wave and gust of wind reminded him just how dangerous his situation was, but that wasn't the worst part. His struggle against the relentless sea showed just how strong and determined humans can be. Every moment was a fight against nature, and when he was finally rescued, it was more than just a relief. It made him realize how fragile life is and how unpredictable things can be. Romualdo was in big trouble. Water was pouring in all around him. Things got even worse when he realized he couldn't swim. The boat he was on was sinking fast, and he only had a few minutes to do something. He looked around quickly and saw a sturdy cool box floating on the waves. Without thinking twice, he grabbed it and climbed inside. The cool box, usually just for keeping drinks cold, was now his lifeboat. But this wasn't the worst part. As the cool box bobbed on the water, carrying him away from the sinking boat, he couldn't help but worry about what lay ahead. The horizon stretched out before him, and the shore was just a blurry line in the distance. His heart was pounding with the fear of the unknown. As he floated, the cool box seemed to be his only hope. The waves rocked him gently, but he couldn't shake the feeling of unease. What if the cool box didn't hold up? What if he couldn't find help? These thoughts swirled in his mind as he clung to his makeshift lifeboat, hoping it would carry him to safety. On the coast of northern Brazil, Romualdo was stuck with nowhere to go, hoping someone would come to rescue him. Days passed by, and he felt more and more alone. Surprisingly, he wasn't completely alone in the vast ocean. Romualdo had a scary experience when sharks were drawn to his makeshift raft, which was actually an old cool box. Seeing the sharks circle around him made him fear for his life, thinking his end was near. But just when he thought things couldn't get worse, the sharks suddenly left, leaving Romualdo alone again. This didn't make his situation any better. The ocean started seeping into the cool box, turning his little raft into a sinking problem. Water began to fill the cool box, making it feel like his safe spot was becoming a watery trap. Each wave that hit the cool box made things worse, and Romualdo had to work hard to keep it from sinking. He held on to hope that someone would find him, even though it seemed like a distant dream. Digging through the sand with his bare hands, the man was exhausted, hungry, and desperate for water. In his darkest moments, he looked up, pleading with God for a miracle, hoping someone would come to his rescue. Thoughts of his family filled him with the strength and hope he needed to keep going. Yet as the hours turned into days, he started to lose confidence in finding a way out. But this wasn't the worst part. On the 11th day of his ordeal, a faint sound broke through the monotony of the sea's whispers. It was the sound of a boat engine, sparking a glimmer of hope in his weary heart. The men on the approaching boat initially mistook the cooler he clung to for a piece of debris. Little did they know this battered cooler was a lifeline for a man running out of time. As the boat drew closer, the fisherman, using his last bit of energy, waved his arms frantically, trying to catch the crew's attention. The men on the boat, realizing someone was in distress, quickly sprang into action. They maneuvered their vessel closer, their hearts racing as they prepared to pull a stranger from the ocean's grip. But there was more to come. The rescue wasn't just about the fisherman's unyielding hope and determination. It was also a powerful reminder of how unpredictable nature can be and how thin the line is between despair and salvation. This dramatic change from isolation and fading hope to the sudden rush of rescue shows the profound impact of human resilience and the unexpected twists of fate that can change our lives in an instant. A piece of trash was drifting on the ocean when it noticed a weakened man. He flung his arms in the air, using what little strength he had left, and cried out for help. After being saved off the coast of Suriname, Romualdo was extremely grateful. He believed his prayers had been answered, saving him from certain death in the vast, dangerous waters. But that wasn't the worst part. He spoke of two miracles that saved him: a sturdy cooler that fought the strong ocean waves, and a boat that arrived just in time to pull him from the sea's grasp. His story, filled with gratitude and renewed faith, highlighted not just his survival, but the small wonders that made a big difference in his most desperate moments. Imagine sailing across vast, unexplored waters where scientists have found over 100 new species deep in the ocean. Off the coast of Chile, researchers explored the deep sea and found creatures that live around underwater mountains in low oxygen zones. These areas are full of life, including rare deep-sea corals and exotic glass sponges, showing us a world hidden from human eyes. But there's more to the story. Further north, off the coast of Costa Rica, explorers found not only new wildlife, but also important habitats. These areas serve as nurseries for young octopuses and skates, showing how the ocean nurtures marine life. Could these discoveries challenge our understanding of marine ecosystems and conservation? What do you think? Leave a comment and subscribe for more.